بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. والله نقدر داونا تلفزيون كوين كلسن تي في وحان إذن كسلامنا استوديه سكيا لما قالت لندن أقل كران هاوس نورد سيركولار رود وحان إذن لنا هاي سند وناكسن دمانتين عاوا أو أحد بيشا جنورينا أي تهاي saddexda sanadka 2016 sanad cusub waxaan idin leenahay ilaahay ha nooga dhigo kii noogu bilowda deganaan khayr aan noqono mid aan ka faa'iidno nabad iyo barwaaqana ku soo macnaha u sababa in aan wadankeeni iyo ashqaasteena Soomaalida iyo ummadda muslimka meel kasta ay joogaan iyo dadyoga kale khayrka jecelba ay u noqdo mid khayr qaba waxaa cawada barnaamijkeena caanka ah ee Gurmad inoogu marti ah laba gabdhood oo Soomaaliyeed oo macnaha la kala yiraahdo Huda Khaliif iyo Yasmin Umar. Huda Khaliif iyo Yasmin Umar waa laba gabdhood oo ku dhashay kuna barbaaray dalkan wadamadan galbeedka gaar ahaan wadankan UK. waa labadoodu waa isku da mid kasta waa 22 jir labadooduna waxa ay dhameysteen waxbarashadoodii jaamacadda heerka jaamacadeed waxa midigta iga fadhida walaasheen Huda Khaliif. Huda waxay ka baxday jaamacadda St George's University ee magaalada London waxayna baratay biomedical science. waxay ka qalin jabisay jaamacadani sanadkan 2015 sanadkii dhamaaday ee 2015 gabadha kale ee ku xigta Huda waa walaasheen Yasmin Umar. Yasmin iyaduna waa 22 jir waxay ka baxday jaamacadda weyn ee Queen's Mary University waxayna baratay biology. iyadu waxay ka qalin jabisay jaamacaddaasi sanadkii hadda naga dhamaaday ee 2015 waxaan ku soo dhaweynayaa labadan gabdhood barnaamijkeena weyn ee Kalson aad jeceshihiin caankana ah walaal Huda Khaliif ku soo dhawa barnaamijka.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome.
Yes.
Sanad kan new year, happy new year's.
Yes.
Ani sidoo sheegay sahal waxaan ahay waxaa la Huda Khaliif waxaan ahay gabadh oo 22 jir ah waxaana ka qalin jabiyay jaamacaddeeda sanadkan hadda la soo dhamaaday haddana waxaan la shaqeeyaa community work aan sameeyaa Ealing Council markaana waa aad u mahadsantahay inaad igu soo dhaweysid barnaamijka.
aad iyo aad aan u faraxsanahay waxaan rajaynaynaa barnaamijka wax yar naga daahay in dadweynuhu na daawada meelo kala duwan oo magaalada wadankan iyo caalamka intiisa kala ah ay nagala qayb qaadan doonaan. labadan gabdhood waxaan barnaamij ahaan ugu casuunay in ay noqdaan role model caruurta kale ay ku daydaan si markaasi aan u gaarno ujeedooyinkeena ah in ilmaheenu ay isku daydaan oo kan wanaagga sameeyey amba ku horumaray waxbarashada ama ka gaaray nolosha meel kan kale uu ku daydo. marka hadda ka hor waxaan barnaamijka ku casuunay wiilal iyaguna saddexa oo mehnado leh oo shaqaynaya jaamacadahoodiina dhamaystay. marka waxaan jecelnahay in caruurta ina daawanaysa waalidiintu in caruurta ay ku wargeliyaan in barnaamij xiiso leh oo qiimo badan uu socdo. barnaamijku wuxuu ku bixi doonaa si aan ugu saamaxno caruurta in ay la socdaan dhalaanka meel kastay joogaan inay barnaamijka fahmaan kuwooda aan luqadda Soomaaliga si fiican uga hadlin inay bal ay awoodi doonaan in ay ku dhageystaan warka intiisa badan luqadda Ingiriisiga. waxaan ku soo dhaweynayaa walaashan Yasmin Umar. Yasmin ku soo dhawa barnaamijka Gurmad adigana.
waa mahadsantahay sida u sheegtay aniga Yasmin Umar la dhahaa sida Hudanaani 21 sano jira waxaana ka soo baxay jaamacadda
Queen Mary University ma sha Allah. haddana
waxaa ka shaqeeyaa qolo la dhaho Somali Advice and Development Center oo ka qayb mid ka part of Ealing Council.
نعم oo ka tirsan Ealing Council.
ka tirsan Ealing Council.
Okay. waxaan jeclahay in aan idin weydiiyo su'aasha ugu horeysa ee barnaamijka labadiinana waxaan jeclahay inaad ka bixisaan jawaabaha markaasi. The first question I would like to put across to Huda Khalif, and then the same question would go to you. The road to progress is long, rough, and stony. Could you please tell us about your journey from primary school education till completion of your university studies, when you completed, acquired knowledge, got certificate, and later became a local government employee? How was that very difficult and long journey?
It was long, but then I guess it's when you kind of list out what you do kind of through your life, it kind of makes a lot of sense, and it's normal, and it's what most people do. You know, like I went to primary school here in London, and then I went straight to high school, and I went to a local high school not too far from my home. And then after that, I went to the sixth form at my high school. I didn't really, and then I just applied for university and things like that right afterwards. And I guess the difficulties came from not knowing anyone who had done the same journey before me, I guess. So kind of I was the first from the people I knew that kind of went through the journey, and so I guess everything was new, trying to figure things out, not knowing what I wanted to do, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was okay, alhamdulillah.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I think when I say the journey was very long, the road was rough, it means there are a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
There are very challenging periods where sometimes your power, aspiration, ability to do things is tested, is put on a test. So how do you manage to overcome these barriers? There are some of them are man-made barriers, some of them are natural. How do you overcome these barriers and finally completed the journey successfully?
Well, I guess first of all, my journey is not complete.
It's not complete.
It's not complete. The journey of life is never complete.
Yes.
I like to think of it that way, and adunkan, rahma ku joogno, is meant to be difficult, and it's meant to be lots of tests and obstacles.
Yes.
And that's as soon as you understand that that's the way that life is, and that every obstacle that's thrown your way, basically. I think it was during high school or something. I think it was during high school, or was it sixth form? I kind of I adopted the mentality that I can be or I can do whatever that I want to do, and the only person that can stop me is myself. So
okay, that is the mentality you're talking about. Is the mentality that develops when you are in
I developed it in
school.
Secondary school and
what age you think?
Form. Probably 15, 16, probably 15, around year 10, 11.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was many obstacles that were in my path, and a lot of them were man-made. A lot of them were my own teachers at high school that said to me, I can't do anything, and I'm not going to be anyone, and I'm not going to get anywhere.
Were they trying to encourage you, to push you into,
not particularly,
or they were undermining you?
They were undermining me. They had, I guess, they had low expectations of me because of where I came from. Maybe because of the people I was hanging around with. Maybe because when I was speaking English, I was speaking more slang than I was speaking actual, English.
The written form.
Yeah, and I guess in class, I've always been the class clown, so I used to just, I used to mess around quite a lot, get in trouble because I was always joking around with my classmates.
So they were clearly saying to you, you're not going to be anything.
Yeah, many times I've been clearly told, don't try too hard, or don't aim for this, you can't do it, and things like that. So that was quite difficult because as a child, you just want to be encouraged, you want to be told that, hey, you can do it, be motivated. But then,
interesting,
I found my motivations elsewhere and kind of spurred myself forward.
I'm very much interested. You said your own teachers were discouraging you instead of encouraging you.
Yeah.
And you said you found your motivation somewhere else.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Mostly my motivation came from my parents.
Well, that's very good.
mostly
And
from my parents. And then they were my friends also. They were really supportive.
Which you had a good friend who
Yeah, I've always,
supported you.
alhamdulillah, I've always had good friends. Allah's always blessed me with good friends. Yasmin's one of them.
Wow, that's a good, yeah. So you have been friends from childhood
Yeah,
all
وحاسس
the way, yeah?
براني year 8 وحان أدني دسي ملعمد. And
Which mal'ama you used to go?
It was
Madrasa?
it was in Southall.
Yeah, it was in Southall.
Southall,
Guri
yes.
دحيس على قد دحي جري.
So,
And this was year 8, early year 8, and that's where we became friends. And ملعمد Yasmin وكتكتي مركانا. We used to just call each other on the house phone. So yeah, we just stayed in contact over the house phone through high school, and we didn't see each other often, because we didn't live that close to each other, and it was difficult to get to each other by public transport. But we used to always just every few months catch up, and then over the years we've just stayed very good friends. Alhamdulillah.
it's very wonderful. Yeah. So the motivation you couldn't find in your school, you managed to find somewhere else, and you found it from your parents and your good friends.
My parents, my good friends, and my siblings.
Were you a difficult child at all?
I wouldn't say I was a difficult child. I'd say that I guess there's different types of difficulties.
Yes.
I guess. I'm the type of child that, for example, if my parents say to me, you should do this or you shouldn't do that, if it doesn't make sense to me, I'll argue with them, and I'll be like, it just explains, I need to understand why you're saying this, it has to be logical.
Yeah.
So I was that kind of child, and in high school I did used to get into trouble quite a lot. But it wasn't because I was getting into
By
fights.
threatening the boundaries.
Yeah, I used to
You
know,
didn't
tiptoe on the line.
recognize the boundaries as boundaries.
Yes, I used to always tip on the line. So I used to get in trouble in my classes because I don't know, I laugh a lot. I joke around a lot. I mess around with the class. I make everybody else laugh. My friends would the same.
You're academically capable student.
But then academically, I would still get my work done.
Okay.
So
yeah.
yeah.
When did things turn around? When did the change for a strong person you are and successful person you later began?
First of all, I like to say that I'm not successful yet.
Yeah, you are in the eyes of many who are listening to this program tonight would agree that a 20-year-old Somalian, a young girl of Somalian background has completed her Bachelor of Science and had a degree in her hand biomedical science. Isn't this success? When a lot are failed and are in jails.
The thing is, I think that if we spend our time comparing ourselves to each other, we'll never improve.
Yes.
Rather, we should always compare ourselves to who we can potentially be, and just to ourselves. So, for example, if there's 100 people around me and they're all not doing well, that shouldn't make me feel better because I'm doing a little bit better than they are. Rather, I should always just aim to do better and be better myself, and just always look at myself.
So you always see yourself as developing.
Developing, yeah.
Developing, yes. Thank you very much. That's a very good word. Let's go to the great sister Yasmin Omar.
Thank
Yasmin,
you.
Same question goes to you. I think a lot of your sisters from Somali background and brothers are watching this program. Parents are also watching in many parts of the world.
Yep.
North America, Australia, Africa, Middle East, and Europe,
Wow.
especially UK. The question is, the road to progress is long, rough, and stony. Can you tell us about your journey from primary school education till completion of university, until you succeeded, got your bachelor's degree from Queen's Mary University, and became a local government employee? For me, as a gentleman who came from Africa, as a refugee and starting new life here, so many different things happening. I see this is an achievement. So,
Thank you.
sorry to consider you, both of you, even if you see yourself is still developing.
Yep, I
and
do.
you are aiming higher.
Yep.
I see you have finished the line and reached where you want to reach. You can carry on, but for us and for many watching this program, you have succeeded. Can you tell us about a little bit about your journey?
Yes, I was born and raised in West London.
Which part?
Ealing.
Ealing,
So,
that's a
which
good-
now currently has the highest the largest Somali population in
It is
London.
estimated 33,000 Somalis live in Ealing alone.
10% of the borough is
Yeah,
Somali.
definitely. According to the official figures, we are 250,000 people.
Wow.
Okay, so 33,000 is a lot of Somalis.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, when I was born in Ealing, there were not that many Somalis. I always knew Somalis in Ealing, but it was nowhere near as large a population as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
I went to primary school. My mum used to take me every day. I went to a primary school that was just at the top of my road.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for every year except 1 year where I left the country and moved to Egypt. And then I came back and I went to high school in the borough. So in Ealing, I went to high school here too. And I also did my A-levels in the borough. And then I moved on to university.
Okay.
Yeah.
You moved to university.
Yeah.
And at the university, how many years did it take for you to complete the degree?
Just 3 years. I mean, I've never taken a gap in education. This is actually the first year.
You haven't broken a year into
Not
two?
a single year. This is the first year where I had a September where I didn't have to pack a pencil case, put it in a bag and go to school since 1997.
Yeah. From 1997
Seven.
all the way to 2015.
15.
These years you were committed to
school.
something.
Yep, I was always at school.
At the school learning.
Yeah.
Do you think the hard work paid off?
I feel like it did. I mean, I do also at the same time feel like teachers play, you know, I'm a massive advocate of a person putting their own effort into their education and that you drive yourself more than anyone drives you. But at the same time, I feel like teachers really make a difference. A teacher can in some ways make or break you. A lot of the time you'll come across teachers who don't have the right attitude towards kids. When you are 3 years old or 4 years old and you start school, up until you're 18 years old, you're a very impressionable individual. What people say to you, you know, people you regard highly, so your teachers in class.
What age you said you consider impressionable?
I would say
means
from
people who are easily influenced by others.
Yes,
that is the exact meaning.
Yes, I would say from your first day of school until your last, because you are in a system where it's a hierarchy and your teachers are always above you. They're people you'll be looking up to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Were they helpful in encouraging you, or some were discouraging you, like Huda Khalif said?
Some teachers, the majority of teachers I've had in my time since I was 3 years old when I started school, were very encouraging people who genuinely cared for me, or at the very least were indifferent. Whereas when I got older, when I started A-levels, I did come across a few teachers who went as far as to say to me, you know, I don't think university is for you. I had a teacher who one day said to a boy in my class, you know what, spell Margaret Thatcher for this young lady over here. And I looked up thinking, who is she talking to? And I turned around thinking, I hope, you know, that she's not referring to me. And I said, Miss, why should he spell Margaret Thatcher for me? I was doing British history for A-level. And she said, because people like you sometimes might struggle with spelling.
So, that's a bit, she went too far.
Yeah,
she went too
way
far.
Too far, yeah.
Because language is something that everyone studies. It's not something that people born with it. So there was claiming sense of belonging to the language.
How could
and
you?
And you were spoken as a foreign. Yeah. You were made to feel foreign, isn't it? Well, that's very sad. So most of the teachers were encouraging, some were discouraging.
Yes.
What was the best response to those who were discouraging?
The best response is to, you know, work hard and stay silent. I'm in no way an advocate of, you know, trying to seek revenge from teachers, talking back to them. I would say if a teacher predicts you a bad grade, if a teacher says you can't succeed, they're just talking. They can do nothing more than, you know, exchange words with you. If you want to succeed, it's up to you, of course, with, you know, by the will of Allah, but it's up to you whether or not you want to succeed. If a teacher tells you can't do well, or they predict that you won't do well, it's just a prediction. How well you do will depend on the effort you put in. If you build, you know, your hirir with Allah and, you know, the work you do, ultimately it's you sitting the exam, not the teacher's prediction.
So I think a lot of children in secondary schools, a lot of students, especially in later years when you are in sixth form, are talking about, spoken to them in a way that they feel discouraged. Okay, we have got a caller. Please welcome. qof baa khadka ku jira soo dhaweynayna. Hello? qof baa khadka ku jira soo dhaweynaynaa.
Hello.
walaal ku soo dhawow khadka telefoonka qof baa ku jira. haddaadna maqlayso walaal ku soo dhawow barnaamijka Gurmad Kalson TV ka baxa habeen kasta oo axada.
Hello, السلام عليكم.
walaal ku soo dhawow khadka telefoonka. waxay la tahay qofkaasi waa u suurtageli weysay inuu khad ka soo galo, gadaal buu nagaga soo biri doonaa. Go on. So the best way to fight against to respond to those who encourage children from reaching their destinations or where they are destined to reach. The best way to respond is to ignore, and person has to try her best and don't consider predictions. Predictions are simply mere predictions and not a reality.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's it. walaal sidaad la socotaan barnaamijka cawada waxaa noogu casuman oo nagala qayb gelaya walaasheen Huda Khaliif iyo Yasmin Umar. ku soo dhawow walaal khadka telefoonka.
Hello, السلام عليكم.
السلام عليكم. codkaaga walaal.
وعليكم السلام walaal.
عليكم السلام walaal.
الحمد لله.
codka ma aan maqlayno. waxaan u malaynayaa khalal xagga farsamada ayaa jira. walaal ku soo dhawow khadka. marka waxay the point I'm talking about is that sida cawada la socotaan waxaa barnaamijka Gurmad nagala qayb gelaya oo noogu casuman laba gabdhood oo walaalaheena, gabar la yiraahdo Huda Khaliif iyo gabar kale oo la yiraahdo Yasmin Umar. labadan gabdhood waa laba gabdhood oo Soomaaliyeed oo ku dhashay kuna koray wadankan, waxna ku bartay kagana qalin jabiyay jaamacado waaweyn oo ka tirsan Russell Group of Universities, waana Queen's Mary University iyo jaamacadda weyn ee St George's University. waxa ay gabadha Huda Khaliif baratay biomedical science, Yasmin Umarna waxay baratay biology. labadoodu sanadkan ayay ka qalin jabiyeen labada jaamacadood. markii aan weydiiyena waxay ka hadleen safarka dheer ee ka bilaabanaya dugsiga hoose ilaa ay ka dhameystaan waxbarashadoodii jaamacadeed oo ay ka noqdaan shaqaale. waxaa mid kasta oo ka mid ah ay ka hadashay in qofka laga doonayo, caruurteena dhammaanna ay waajib tahay inay cawada ogaadaan in laga doonayo in ay la yimaadaan dadaal shakhsi ah. waxay ka hadleen oo kale inay la kulmeen in macallimiinta ay yihiin kuwa markaa kula taliya waxa wanaaga kuna dhiirigeliya inay horumaraan. haddana ay dhacday in ay la kulmeen macallimiin iyagu niyad jabiya caruurta oo jaamacad ba aynan ahayn inay isku dhibaan. marka waana u jeedaan ma aynan dhegaysan, dhegna umaynan dhigin hadalladaasi niyad jabinta ahaa caruurta gabdhahan ay la kulmeen. waxayse noqdeen gabdho aada u dadaala oo markii dambena ay u suurto gashay inay jaamacadaha waxbarashadooda ku dhamaystaan. Let us come back to the second question. My second question is, who do you attribute your success to?
I attribute any success that I have now or in the future, I attribute to Allah first and foremost, because to Him belongs all success and to Him belongs all praise. And then after Allah, I attribute my success to my parents. Definitely my parents.
Okay, walaal khadka ku soo dhawo telefoonka.
Yeah, so both my mother and my father put a lot of their efforts into me. aad iyo aad ila dadaaleen from markaan yaraa. Si oo hore I can't, to be honest, I can't thank them enough. And words can't describe how much they're doing for me, and they're still doing for me, to be honest, right now. Because without you know, markaan yaraa, and always motivated me, pushed me, and kind of like always been there to support me, and always told me that no matter what, that whatever I decide to do, or you know, whatever path that I follow, that they'll always be there as support. They've always given me their advice and things like that. So definitely, I attribute my success 100%
to
my parents. Yeah,
and not to yourself.
not myself.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Not myself.
Okay, what about the teachers, the good friend, as you mentioned it?
Oh yeah. Okay, so Alhamdulillah, Allah has always blessed me by surrounding me with good people.
Yeah.
So after my parents, who get the number one spot,
Yeah.
there's also, for example, my siblings.
Yes.
So I have an older brother who's always kind of motivated me, inspired me, pushed me forward, believed in me. And then there's always, of course, my other siblings, my sister, my other brothers. And then I have good friends who have always been there to support me, even though we've gone down our own separate paths. Just having someone there, to when you're feeling down, to push you forward, is always a good thing.
I think a friend can be helpful if he is a good person.
Yeah.
That goodness can be of some help to the person.
Yeah.
The friend can be a danger to your life if he is not a good friend.
Yeah,
I
because
think if he's not himself following the right ways, then he can contribute to your downfall.
Yeah.
So I think to have a good friend is okay, but good thing to hear that you attribute your success 100% to your parents. Parents are hearing and other parents are hearing. Caruurteena haddii lagu dadaalo oo waxyaabaha ay u baahan yihiin la siiyo loona sabro, hadda waa maqlaysaan sidaa bay qalbiga idinkugu hayaan una sheegayaan si cad oo babliga sidan oo kale, iyo ayaguna markay keligood yihiin ay xasuusan yihiin in meesha maanta ay gaareen waalidku gaarsiiyey. Marka dhammaan dadweynahana maqlaya waxaa cawada ka faa'iidaysanaynaa barnaamijkan khaasatan gabdhaha in ay ku daydaan labadan gabdhood oo walaalahooda ah ee waxbarashadii ku dadaalay, ee waddankan ku dhashay, ku koray, ee gaaray heerka maanta ay jaamacadahooda dhammaystaan. Weli waxay leeyihiin waxaan ku jirnaa horumar, waxaan higsanaynaa meelo ka sii sarreeya meelaha maanta aan gaarnay. Marka waxaa laydinka doonayaa shakhsiyan in caruuray aad dhegaysataan oo aad ku dayataan walaalihiina. A lot of children are not grateful to what their parents have given them. Parents have traveled, we all came from a war-torn country. So the country, Somalia, civil war broke out and people fought each other, and they destroyed whatever the country has built since coming into existence. I think people fled the country, went to different directions, and journey of a new life began. It was difficult. Parents came here, they make sacrifices. A sacrifice to get you into here, or a sacrifice to raise you in a difficult environment. There is a discrimination, racism, deeply embedded in the job markets. They are fighting also the climate they are not familiar with. Okay, the other thing, they also have ambitions. Ambition is to help their loved ones they left behind, and ambition is to realize their dreams. So with all these things, some children are not aware of all this. They are ungrateful to their parents. They speak to their parents as if they were equals. You understand? And unfortunately, I must tell I help a lot of families, and very recently I came across to a young girl who hit her mother. She definitely hit her mother physically. So this is the world we live. What would you say to those who are disobedient to their parents, not listening to the instructions that are given to them? What is your advice?
I guess my advice is waxaa la dhahaa ninoo
السلام عليكم
ninaa dhashay kuma dhalin. That's the mahma Somalis have, right? So
Yeah.
ninaa dhashay kuma dhalin.
السلام عليكم
You don't know what it feels like to be a parent until you are a parent. So even now, as someone who's grateful to their
السلام عليكم أنا
parents,
مغلية
we don't understand how they feel when we do certain things, and we'll never fully understand until we have kids of our own. So I guess it's just trying to step into their shoes
هذه أبلا كل
and
فضية
always trying to see where they come from.
Hello?
ما مغلية هلا السلام عليكم
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله. عدك حوغا قابا.
أسأل واقع معي ومغلية يعني هذه يا عبد العالمين
عدك حوغا يرنقو قابا لنك فرسمدا.
وايد المغلية أنا وصفت عن بلدين مغلية
هاي بلال هاي. waxay la tahay xagga cilad xagga farsamada codka ayaa jirta cawada marka waxay la tahay waan sii wadayna dad badan ayaa jecel barnaamijka inay ka qayb qaataan nasiib daro codka ayaa na soo gaareen. So what is your advice to countless number of children, number of growing children who are fighting their own biological parents inside homes and creating a lot of problem for them? What is your advice?
Number one, I think my advice is waxaa jiro, a lot of misunderstandings and miscommunications between parent and child. Because maxaa la dhahaa anaka hooyadeen iyo aabaheen waxay kusoo koreen dal kale oo anaka ma naqaano markaas dalkaas waxay kusoo koreen the environment yaqaanaan the culture dhaqanka yaqaanaan anaka waxaan ka naqaano ma jirto anaka waxaan kusoo kornay dhaqan oo 50-50 ah half gurigaan joognaa oo dhaqanka Soomaaliyeed aan ku dhex jirnaa inta kalena waxaan joognaa banaanka oo dhaqanka the western world aan ku dhex jirnaa markaana waxay ku yir dhaqankeena markaas wuxuu noqday mid oo completely different ah oo hooyo aabayo completely ma fahmayaan dadkan kalena oo westerners ah completely ma fahmi karaan markaas waxaa la rabaa to kind of build a bridge between parent and child and the only way you can build a bridge is through good communication. So markaas haddii hooyo iyo caruurteeda ama aabo iyo caruurtiisa haddii sheeko fiican ka dhaxayso isfahmayaan isla socdaan kale the problems that they go through, how they feel, things like that, ma jiri doonto any ungratefulness and all of that. I feel like maxaa ma ku jirto dagaal iyo maxay ka dhex jirto waxa weeyaan because of that misunderstanding and that miscommunication.
Okay, but isn't on the part of the children isn't a bad thing for the child not to understand and appreciate his parents?
100%. Well, حتى
you cannot have two equals.
ما jirto like
there means you are not talking about two people who have same rights. This is your parent who conceived you, who carried you inside the tummy for 9 months, and who breastfed you. Who took you to every place where they might think you will be feeling happy, spend all they had on you and helped you educate. And you are a little kid. Do you think that answering back, shouting, yelling, or even hitting your own parents,
to be honest, arguing back with your parents, insulting them, anything to do with that is completely and utterly inexcusable. You can't excuse that because at the end of the day, you can never give back to your parents what they gave to you because it was completely selfless. It's impossible for you to, even if you were to dedicate the rest of your life to them.
kusoo dhawo khadka walaal waa ka soconayna okay so it is
It's completely.
let's go to Yasmin Omar. Yasmin, my
Yes.
question is that who do you attribute your success to?
First and foremost, I would say I attribute my success to Allah. Throughout my childhood, throughout my time at school, I was raised by my parents to, build a bridge between myself and Allah. I don't think I have ever sat an exam where I haven't read dua beforehand. It's always just been a part of like my before exam preparation protocol. Read dua. I used to read Ayatul Kursi. I used to ask Allah directly, help me to pass this exam if it's something that is in my benefit. After Allah, of course, I would attribute my success to my parents, though I would attribute it more to my mother than I would my father. Yeah.
Why do you do that?
When I would say just before 11, my parents divorced.
Yes.
And I was raised solely by my mother after that, so from the age of 11. And that's when my education started to become more difficult with each passing year. I have vivid memories of any time I've had any sort of trouble at school, any time I've had a difficulty, if something upset me, if something made me happy, it was my mum who shared the success with me, and it was also her who supported me through struggles. Before, she knew all the exams I've had through my years. She'd say to me, "Good luck, Ilahi haku sahal imtihankai." And when I was done, she would always ask me, "How was your exam?" She would ask me, "How was your exam?" And if she wasn't home to find out how my exam went, she would always call me, or sometimes even leave a note at home that says, "How was your exam on it?" So,
okay, yeah. I think she was asking you. Go on.
Yeah, so my mum, through every single day, has been there for me. So my parents, whilst I attribute it to both of them, I would attribute it more to my mother, if that's acceptable.
Well, I think what I would like to say is that you attribute your success to your parents.
Yes.
And you give more marks to your mom
yes,
than you give to your dad.
Because she raised me as a single parent, which a lot of parents will
which is common in
relate
this part
to.
of the world. Yeah.
Yep.
I think a lot of parents are able to stay together and raise their children.
Yes.
However, there are some who, for different reasons,
Yes.
are not able. But that means fathers and mothers, they both aim to help you succeed in life. So relationship is one thing, and parentalhood is another. So I think it's a great thing to hear. Finally, I would like to ask you my last question, which is, Yasmin.
Yes.
What is your advice to many brothers and sisters who are still in the schools and university education, who are going to who are going to look forward into a better future? And what are you going to say to a lot of brothers and sisters who are less fortunate, who might have failed in their attempts to study and succeed? A combination of the two. Maxaa ku leedahay walaalahaaga nolosha ku guul dareystay ee awoodi waayey in dhowr jeer isku dayaan inay guulaystaan, iyo qaarka dariiqa ku soo jira dadaalaya, iyo xiriirka sida macnaha aad ku talinaysa cawada maxaa waajiba, sidee u aragtaa waalidka in loola dhaqmo?
My advice wuxuu ahaan lahay persevere, adkayso, never ever ever give up. Hard work will always pay off. Adkayso, markaa iskool joogtid isku day inaa shaqo inaa wax walba samaysatid, cidna kaama qaadi karta adiga shaqadaa gelisid. The effort you put in to succeed, there's no one who can take it from you.
Yes.
Adiga, work on building your own mind, your own routine to succeed at school. Do not be put off by failure. If you don't do well, that doesn't mean you can't, try again. And also never fear trying something for the first time.
Yeah.
Don't tell yourself, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, they say. So don't ever think that you couldn't possibly achieve something. I would also say don't always compare yourself to other people. You know, we're all as individual as our fingerprints. Somebody might be good at maths, another might be good at science.
So don't make comparisons to others.
Just because somebody is good at a subject doesn't mean, you know, you are either worth less than them or less intelligent than them. If we all studied the same things or did well in the same things, you just have a world that was made entirely of everyone who was from the same profession, and we'd not get anywhere because everyone would have this.
Definitely, yeah. And
I also have advice for parents. What I'd say to parents, and I should probably say this in Somali, I would say to parents, ciyaalkay ha ku qasbin inay dhigtaan maado oo adiga jeceshahay ama adiga u malaynaysid inay tahay wax fiican. Parents-ka badankooda waxay jecel yihiin inay dhahaan ciyaalkay ama dhakhtar noqo ama engineer noqo. How do you say engineer in Somali? Muhandis waa Carabi samahan. Engineer noqo, dhakhtar noqo. Gabadha waa ujeedaa dariskeena waxay noqotay dhakhtar ku dhahaa adiga maxaa cilada qabtid maxay tahay ku dhahaa. You know, habeertaa gabadheeda ama wiilkeeda saan oo yeelay saas. Ciyaalka haday kugu dhahaan aniga waxaan jeclahay inaan dhigto ha ahaato English, ha ahaato journalism, ha ahaato
history,
wax walba ha ahaato.
Okay, walaal ku soo dhawaad khadka. Khadka telefoonka qof baa ku jira. Ku soo dhawaad walaal. Habeen wanaagsan walaal. walaal aadaan uga xunnahay khalal fani ah oo aanan hore u arkin ayaa naga haysta xagga codka, marka waxaan ku leenahay walaal kuma maqleyno, inkastoo jecleen barnaamijkina dad badan ayna soo wacayaan xagga farsamada nooma suurtagelin cawada inay dadku kaga qayb qaataan barnaamijka xagga inkastoo barnaamijyada ugu wanaagsanaa uu yahay. Okay, iwad
tamaray
waxaad maraysay pointiga wiilkan eedda ay dhashay baa horumaray oo maadada bartay.
ciyaalka haday ku imaadaan ay ku dhahaan hooy aniga waxaan jeclahay ha ahaato English, law, journalism, sida dhahaysay history, sociology, psychology, wax walba ha ahaato ina adiga u yeeshid waxay jecel yihiin ku fiican, maadaam the reason being qofkii hadaa oo ogolaatid inuu dhigto wuxuu isaga jecel yahay ciyaalkaagii way ku dadaali doonaan wax fiican ay ku keeni doonaan, hadhow shaqo fiican ay ku helayaan, waxna way ku faa'iidi doonaan.
hadaa ku khasabto wuxuuna rabina ma gaarayaan. marka talada dacwada waxa waaye waalidiinta in ay caruurta fahmaan oo wixii cunuga uu ku fiican yahay. hadda dhibka jira wadankan isla aragna waxay tahay kulli waxa la leeyahay waa inaad qaadato triple science oo aad barato medicine.
waa la dhahaa laakiin haddii adduunka dhan dhakhtar noqoto yaa samee shaqooyinka kale yaa qabana.
midda kale dhakhtarkii ma tahay shaqadaas macnaha annaga iska fahamsan 50 professions ka jira medicine-ka gudihiisa. dhakhtarnimo keliya un baan u hubaysanaa inay wax tahay. waana waxbarasho dhirir badan, stressful jobna waa saa ogtihiin. dhakhaatiirta ma aha dad maaragtay game easy game dheelaya. ma fahamta marka waxay la tahay taasi waa mid ina khaliif maxaa adigana ku talinaysaa thousands of people who are watching you or will be watching you when recorded messages are put into the YouTube and elsewhere. What is your advice to the parents? maxaa kula talin lahayd waalidiinta iyo caruurta arrinkan ay taabatay Yasmiin oo ah in dadka aan la khasbin oo loo daayo wixii markaa ay rabaan inay bartaan?
For the youth, my advice would be that what's important is for always thinking of your own further development. So whenever you have to sit down sometime alone somewhere where there's not other people around you, and you have to really question yourself and what you want from life. Who do you want to be? And when I say this, I'm not just talking about what profession that you want to go into. I also mean the kind of person that you want to be. Do you want to be somebody who, I don't know, spends their life helping other people? Do you want to be somebody that, you know, leaves a legacy behind and people remember your name in future years to come? Do you want to be somebody who works behind the scenes and nobody knows their name, but is behind the success of so many people or so many things, different things? Do you want to change lives, or, you know, do you want to just be involved in your own life? Do you find having a family to be more important than having, you know, a career that's successful? It's up to you, but what's important is that you understand who you are, so you can understand where you want to go in the future. And if you sit down with yourself and you're honest about who you are as a person, and you're honest about the talents that you have, because we all have talents, then once you've kind of figured yourself out, you can set goals, and you should always aim as high as you possibly can, because generally the people in this life that have become successful aren't the ones that have said, I just want to do I just want to pass by. I'm not going to do the best that I can. Everybody on this earth was created for a purpose, and everybody on this earth has a specific talent. Everyone has something that they're good at, and if you're able to figure out what you're good at, and you work hard at it, and you keep working hard at it in hopes to be the best at what you do, then you won't just be someone that's inspirational for the Somali community. You'll be somebody that's inspirational for the Muslim Ummah. You'll be someone who's inspirational for the entire world. So I'd say aiming high and then working hard to get to where you're aiming, setting goals and kind of having the steps planned ahead of you of how you're going to get there. And at the same time, understanding that this life is short and that you should enjoy every moment that you have here, and every moment that you have should be one that's benefiting you and benefiting other people. And to kind of always remember that, you know, the rights that people have upon you, we all know that, for example, Allah has rights upon us, and obviously the creation also have rights upon us. But it's quite interesting that in the Quran, the rights the creation have over you is mentioned more than the rights that Allah has over you, which means that you have to also think about the people around you and how you affect them. And, you know, personally, I'd say that if you want success, 100%, if you spend your time, any time that you have, helping another person or helping other people, Wallahi al-Azim, the help will come back to you, and you will see just so much bounties appearing everywhere in your life.
And it is irhamu man fil ardi yarhamukum man fis sama.
Exactly.
Help those who on earth, means
And you will get
animals and humans, and you will get the help and mercy from Allah.
Exactly.
That is Wallahu fi aun al-abdi ma kana al-abdu fi aun akhihi. Allah will be in support of the servant as long as the servant supports his brother.
Yes.
Means that is the message you are passing. It is, now we are coming to the end of the program.
Okay.
And my final question. Now you have completed your studies, got a degree, into a job, and I hope you keep developing. Are you planning to settle down, and what is the ideal husband? I know that you're not going to look for a car driving a man chewing qad, or qad is banned from UK. That is, but what's ideal person you are looking for in the future, or marriage is not in the menu?
At the moment, I honestly don't have any time, but I would say, I think I'll take one for the team. I'll say, just
a man that has eyes, inshallah ta'ala.
A man that
hands,
has
feet,
hands, feet, a nose.
Yeah.
No, honestly,
and who hasn't got bad habit.
A man who's connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Connected to Allah.
Yes,
and
connected
hopefully,
to Allah.
In a very short time, we hope that you also settle down and succeed. Thanks to the great program. Waxaan u mahadnaqaynaa Ilaahay ka soko. Waxaan leenahay farsamayaqaanka Saadiq iyo Maxamed Afgooye oo naga gacan siiyay barnaamijka sidoo cawada hawada ku soo gal lahay. Waxaan ka cudur daaranaynaa hadda bini aadan baan nahay, khalalka fanniga ee xagga telefonaadka cawada aan kala kulannay. Barnaamijka aad baa loo daawanayaa. YouTube-ka ayaan soo gelin doonaa, caadadiisana waxaan ka codsanaynaa TV-ga in uu ku celiyo dadweynaha mar kale ugu celiyo. Intaan iska arki doono, waxaan kaga tegaynaa amaano Allah iyo amaano Rasuul. Waxaan aad ugu mahad celinayaa Yasmiin Cumar iyo huda khaliif waxaan ilaahay uga baryaynaa ayagoo kale in uu ka soo saaro gabdhaha soomaaliyeed gabdhow hadda ay maqlaysaan waalidkooda la dagaalo shiisha oo la tago habeenkii oo la wareego central london labada subaxnimo waxaasoo dhan waa arkeenaa indhehena ku arkeenaa ma jeclaysanayno dib isugu laabta sanad cusubaa lagu jiraa hooyooyinkiina eega waalidkiina fiiriya waa dad masaakiin oo jecel inaad guulaysataan sidan oo kale aan idinka sugaynaa waad u jeedaan weli waxay leeyihiin waan sii wadaynaa qofkii sidan u dadaala ee akhlaaqdiisa ilaaliya ee waxbarta ilaahayna ajar u siinaya qofka kalena haddana waa ka anigu waxaan idin sheegayaa oo cawada barnaamijkan darti igu kalifay inaan sameeyo gabar soomaaliyeed oo da'dan ah baa hooyadeed gacanteeda ku feertay marka aad bay ii dhibtay waxaan idhi way maqlaysaa magacaaga ma sheegayo dadaal isku laabo wixii aad samaysay way khaldan yihiin cid ku dacwaysanaysa cid kale male ilaahay u tooba keen duko waalidka ha la diririn way ku soo koriyeen intaan iska arkayno mustaqbalka soo socda waxaan idinkaga tegaynaa amaano allah iyo amaano rasuul is aragti dambe oo xiise leh usbuuca soo socda axadda waxaa barnaamijka daadihin doona saaxiibkayga weyn ducali yuusuf intii aan ka gaarayno amaano allah wa maca salaama